Heroes, villains, a tale as old as time, and the never-ending battle to protect truth and justice from those who thrive on chaos and bloodshed. Come with us as we peel back the mask on your beloved Crusaders of Light and dive deep into the dark and twisted abyss of the most feared and hated harbingers of doom. Follow your host, Power Maximus, and everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, as they take a trip down the rabbit hole that is everything super. So, are you a hero or a villain? Either way, find that super suit and suit up for the Super Breakdown.
What is up? What is up? All level sevens. Welcome back to the Super Breakdown. I do want to apologize for the delay. We were having a lot of technical difficulties just before we started as well. But we're back with another amazing episode. We're gonna have a lot of fun in this episode. I can already tell just by going through all of our research, all of our knowledge about this character. Like, he's one of my favorite characters. When I was a kid, the Juggernaut was one of my favorite characters within X-Men and the Marvel universe. And why wouldn't he be? He's a Juggernaut, bitch. But yes. Before we get started, I want to put up a toast. Triage, I don't know if you got a drink with you, but I got a drink with me. As always, Terramana Tequila. Shout out to Wayne Johnson, Terramana Tequila. Please sponsor us. We are at 50 episodes. This is our 51st episode. So our last episode made 50. So I definitely want to raise a glass to 50 episodes, to another 50 episodes, and then another 50 episodes after that, into another 50 episodes after that. Yeah, man, this has been an amazing ride so far. It's been super fucking fun. I'm so happy that, you came along for this ride, bro. Like, 'cause I feel like this show really wouldn't be all that great without you. So I definitely want to put a toast to you as well. Cheers to Lord Triage as well.
Cheers, I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely, bro. Definitely appreciate it. So salute to a long future of the Super Breakdown, to many more awesome opportunities and doors to open up. Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
All right, let's drop into it. The unstoppable, the immovable Juggernaut. Let's get into it.
He's not quite. He's not quite immovable, but we'll get into that. So-
Okay, yeah, you're right. Now, Kane Marco. How does this guy who? All right, so this is how I'm gonna do. All right, so we first get introduced to the Juggernaut in issue 12 of the X-Men,
Correct.
and within that, we end up getting his origin from Charles Xavier, and it's actually in a bunch of flashbacks that Charles has given us. We end up finding out that Kane Marco is actually Charles Xavier's stepbrother.
Correct.
When they were young, Xavier's mother passed away or left. They don't really expand too much on that, but I'm pretty sure she had passed away from context we're giving, and his father ends up remarrying. And what he does, that's when they end up moving to the mansion, which ends up becoming the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning. Now, from there, we end up seeing, Marco was a really big bully to Charles. He hated Charles because he saw that his father, that Charles's father pretty much favored him more than, than Kane himself. And, because, Charles, he was smarter, he was better at sports than he was, and, apparently he was like on the track team, football, all these things. But what he didn't know is that this is all because he had the ability to read minds, so he always knew what was going on. So there ends up being an incident in his father's lab, and it starts a fire. His father selflessly pretty much saves both Kane and Charles, but unfortunately didn't survive himself. So Kane pretty much he grows this resentment towards him. Even more than just bullying him. Now we fast forward. Charles and him, they've enlisted in the military. Well, they were drafted into the military during the Korean War. Apparently, their platoon came under attack. They, bombs are dropping, bullets is flying. Kane takes off. Boom. So Charles is like, yo, bro, what you doing? This is like, you about to get in mad trouble. This is a federal offense, whatever. And he chases after him. They end up stumbling into a cave where they end up finding a red gem. Now, Marco picking it up, he ends up being imbued with these powers and abilities. He picks up this gem, and what happens from there, Triage? Let people know what happens from there.
So the gem that he picks up is the Ruby of Sidorak, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, yep.
And basically, Sidorak was his deity who involved his followers with super strength, super endurance, and near invulnerability.
Now, I want to circle back to the gem. Right after we get to right after he finishes Origins, I want to get back to the gem because there's a lot of backstory to the gem itself, not just Kane as Juggernaut, but there's also a backstory to it as well. So I definitely want to circle back to that. If memory serves me, just like Melnir, there's like an inscription on the gem itself. I believe it's like whosoever shall read these words shall be imbued with the shall forever wear the bands of Sidorak and forever become an unstoppable Juggernaut.
And will leave this place a human Juggernaut.
Yes, yep. And from there, with all that going on, the cave starts collapsing. Charles is able to escape, but Kane, unfortunately, gets buried underneath this mountain, pretty much. Now, to everyone at this point in time, everyone believes Kane's dead. Even Charles believes Kane's dead. It's not until years later, where he shows back up as Juggernaut, we find out that he was trapped underneath there for like 7 years, and he dug his way out because he just got imbued with the power of Juggernaut. Now, what we end up finding out is that whosoever Sidorak imbues with the power of Juggernaut, they're self-sustaining. They don't need to eat. They don't need to drink. They don't even need air. Sleep. They don't need sleep. They don't even need air. Which is how he was able to survive underneath this mountain. So he digs himself out. So he has like 7 years to think back on. Oh, this motherfucker left me. Oh, bet. when I get my ass up out of this motherfucker, it's over. So when he finally gets out, he's filled with nothing but revenge and rage. And then we end up seeing Xavier gets end up thrown out of the kind of like flashback because Juggernaut starts attacking the mansion and shit. So that's pretty much how the Juggernaut came to be. Now did I miss anything? Because again, we all
No.
know as it's been shown, you know way more than me when it comes to comic books. I'm just going off the top of the dome what I remember.
So Charles Xavier's father and Marco's father were actually research scientists. They worked together. When Charles' father dies, Marco's father marries Charles' mother, but it's revealed that he only married her for her money.
Oh, so I had that a little bit backwards.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now Kane was fully aware of this, that he didn't truly love her, but he was forced to go along with it and forced to deal with Charles because that's what his father wanted. And anytime he acted out, his father severely beat him,
Mm.
which also gave him more resentment towards his muty brother, as he called him.
Yes, he did end up finding out about Charles's abilities when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Now, in some versions of the stories, it says that he does have an X gene and he awakened it using mysticism, but the ruby of Sirac is usually the more common way it's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's usually how it's even in the new run of the story of his storyline. This takes place like later on. All mutants have been pretty much they all kind of like exiled themselves onto one island under the leadership of Charles, which I would have pointed out to everyone that was talking trash underneath the last post when we were talking about Magneto. Charles ends up coming around to Magneto's side, ends up pretty much saying, fuck it, we're not gonna live in peace, so we're just gonna live on our own. So I just want to yeah. Y'all didn't know that. Y'all didn't know that. Do your research. Do your research. Y'all want to sit here and talk shit about Malcolm X, but not know the true story about Magneto and Charles. So I just want to throw shots a little bit. I just want to throw a little bit of shots there because there was a lot of bad mouthing in them comments. Don't make Power Farrakhan come out again. This is not the episode for that.
Like I said, Magneto was right. Fight me.
Amen. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So yes. So during this period of time when the Juggernaut attacks Xavier in the mansion in that first issue in 12, this is when we actually get to see him truly cut loose and this is one of the things they elaborated on in the first X-Men Legends game, because it was a flashback mission that you played, because he really destroyed the mansion. Like, it was disgusting the way he leveled that place.
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that. Because he's unstoppable. Once he gets moving, he can't be stopped. I mean, there's very few that can stop him. Like telekinetics, reality bending characters, such like Franklin Richards, the Marquis of Death. These reality bending characters, clearly common sense, they can stop him. But physically stop him, you can't stop him. Once he gets moving, it's over. Again,
Gladiator was able to stop him, but he's the only person I've seen physically stop him.
Actually, there was another. I don't know if it really counts or not, but there was another character that actually does end up stopping him. She went by the name of D-Cell, and her ability was that she could control kinetic energy. She can either speed something up or slow it down. So it was a fight for her because she was young, but she was actually able to slow him down and stop him. So they actually end up becoming a team later on. But we'll get to that later.
Okay.
yeah, but the reason why I say it might not count because this takes place later on. This is after Kane Marco. This is later on after Kane decides to turn over a new leaf, or along those lines. I mean, there's other shit that happens that we're about to get into. Um, but now with this gem, and this is something that so there's two stories that start with this gem. Um, the first one and the original one is uh there were a bunch of monks who wanted to harness the power of Sidorak and use it for their own abilities and stuff. But first off, let's run it back. Sidorak is this omnipotent god, or demon more so. He's a demon that got banished from the planet, that from this realm. He's a part of a demon pantheon known as the uh Odyssense or Omnipotence or something like that. And it was 8 of them. Now, the original story is that these monks, they end up actually summoning Sidorak, but it wasn't Sidorak in a whole. It was actually it was more so his power and of destruction and everything like that. So they couldn't control it. Ends up wiping out a bunch of monks on the side and along that side of the country, until 2 mystics actually were able to banish him. But he's like, bet, what? You may be able to banish this part of me, but I will always remain in this realm. And he ends up leaving the gem behind. That whoever shall find the gem gets imbued and becomes a living Juggernaut. That's the first story of it. The second story, which is the story that is run with more now, is pretty much more so seen as canon, is that this pantheon of gods, these 8 gods, they were all banished from the earthly realm. So it gets to a point where they're all chilling in this other realm, like, hey, which one of y'all is the strongest? Which one of us is the strongest? So Sidorak's like, all right, well, since we really can't do nothing about it right now, let's do this. Let's send our power and send an artifact of ourselves to the earthly realm, and we pick avatars. Right? And then through that, we'll see whose avatar is the strongest, and whoever wins is the strongest of us all. This is how it's going to work. Our avatars, once one person picks up one of our artifacts, it would then drive the other 7 chosen to then go and find the rest of the artifacts. Then from there, those disciples, those avatars, would then divide humanity into 8 equal parts, and then they all go to war. Whatever 8th wins will then show which one of us is the strongest. So that's what they did. They all artifacts, and so that the gem of Sidorak is Sidorak's artifact that he sent down. And that storyline is a part of something called the 8-Day War, which involves Thor. So go check that out. The 8-Day War. It didn't go into full fruition clearly, but the 8-Day War is absolutely crazy. So yeah, that's where we end up seeing, he ends up picking up the gem, becomes essentially the herald, the avatar of Sidorak. And Sidorak, pretty much his job is just to destroy and create absolute chaos and destruction. So I just wanted to touch on the gem itself and who Sidorak is. Let's put it this way: Sidorak is like he resides in what's called the Crimson Dimension. That's his shit. Like Apocalypse is dark side shit. The Crimson Realm or Crimson Dimension, that's Sidorak shit. Like he's so powerful that the Phoenix Force can't even touch him. Can't even touch him. Like, and as we all know, the Phoenix Force is anybody that gets imbued with the Phoenix Force becomes Omega level immediately.
Yeah, they're damn near omnipotent.
Offer it becomes Omega level. Yeah. So now here's the thing. Now we find that out that the Phoenix Force can't touch this motherfucker because Colossus ends up becoming the Juggernaut. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Colossus ends up becoming Juggernaut. Yeah, that story's fucking crazy. He ends up Sidrak ends up imbuing Juggernaut, Colossus with the powers of Juggernaut, right? So now we all know Colossus is one of the only other people that can kind of go toe to toe. Like the first time we see Juggernaut in the animated series, it's the first time we get introduced to Colossus.
Correct.
Which I found that was dope as well. Like so I went back and watched a little bit. But now Colossus with his own mutant abilities, plus being imbued as a Juggernaut, plus then also on top of that being imbued with the Phoenix Force, still couldn't even come even a fraction, like 1% close. Couldn't even come 1% close to touching Sidorak.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
terrifying.
that's terrifying, fucking terrifying. But now, yeah, so Juggernaut, like, yeah, he ends up going through all that. You know, we all know he's like the big bad and shit like that. But yeah, he had a troubled past, and then he gets imbued with this power to pretty much become the strongest and do whatever the hell he wants, and so he does it.
Hey, quick Snapple fact.
Hmm.
Did you know that Colossus has a weakness against vibranium?
No, but it makes sense.
Apparently, if he even touches it, it depowers him and puts him back to his human form.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I did not know that. Another Snapple fact: did you know that Colossus' sister, Magic, was actually tapped to become Juggernaut?
I did not.
Yep. She ends up becoming tapped to become Juggernaut, but it ends up going wrong because it ends up suppressing her normal abilities and pretty much like brings out the worst side of her, and she
Mm.
becomes this ends up becoming Dark Child. Yeah. So yeah, this fucking gem, this like Ruby of Sidorak. It's no fucking joke. No fucking joke. Pardon me, I'm a little sick right now. Um, but yeah. Oh, for those who are watching, I also want to point out, as you can see, we have a new setup, and this is in kind of like a 50 episode kind of anniversary for us. Decided to switch things up, as you saw. If you did see, our intro screen's a little bit different as well. We will be getting a new intro soon as well. That's just gonna take a little bit of time to get there. But yeah, no, I just wanted to point out that we got our new setup here and stuff. Looks great to me. I don't know about nobody else, but to me, it looks great. Mm,
And I like it much myself.
mm. Took a lot of work. I spent all morning on it, but just to get it right, make sure everything was like sized right and shit. That was a pain in the ass. Um, Now what is one of your stories of Juggernaut that kind of been like seared in for you?
There was a very interesting run he had where he took on Venom.
Oh, you tell. I have not heard that one. You know I love Venom. I have not heard that one before.
Yeah, so there was a crossover where Venom had basically the Venom symbiote had almost evolved, so to the point where he had more arms, he had multiple heads, and how Venom was after someone, and Marco basically stepped in and was hired to protect him from Venom.
Mm. Mm. Okay. I didn't. What do you know the name of the run? Because I want to
I
check that out.
I do not. I read it as a kid, but I just remember the fight the two of them had and how epic it was.
Mm, Speaking of fights between the two, yeah, like Marco and Colossus are like dead ass like legit enemies. Marco's fought damn near everyone in the Marvel universe. He has literally fought damn near everyone in the Marvel universe, including Spider-Man. There's a cut where he's fighting Spider-Man, and clearly Spider-Man can't stop him. So what he ends up doing, he ends up leading him into wet cement, which pretty much is like quicksand to the Juggernaut. And
Makes
like,
sense.
yeah, and first off, poor Marco. This motherfucker keeps getting buried. It was buried for 7 years underneath a mountain, had to dig his way out. And then with the cement, like he was buried for months. He was buried underneath that shit for months. And then when he finally got out, he was like, "Yo, fuck this shit." He threw on some regular degular ass clothes, went to his old favorite bar, started having some drinks, and guess who he runs into at the bar?
Oh,
Peter. He runs not Peter Parker, but Peter Colossus, who's sitting there chilling with his shorty and whatnot. He ends up spilling a drink on Colossus, and now these motherfuckers is getting. No. I'm sorry. Colossus spills a drink on Marco, and now he's not in his Juggernaut attire. He's in his regular clothing, and now they start a whole ass bar fight. Now, man, listen, that I've never seen a comic book fight go for 7 pages. 7 pages of them just duking it out in a bar. I'm talking about tearing that bitch down, picking up the whole fucking bar, hitting each other with it, grabbing fucking beams and shit like that. They tore that shit down. Yeah, that. And now when we see them face off in the original '90s show, Colossus ends up getting arrested because he happened to be at the bank at the time. So pretty much Juggernaut robbed the bank, and he happened to be at the bank at the time. And so he used his powers to try to stop Juggernaut from robbing the bank.
right.
Unfortunately, it did not go as planned. Juggernaut isn't getting away, but the police end up arresting him because it's like, bro, you're the only one with the fucking powers to do this. Who else is gonna do this? And so it takes Storm and Rogue. Storm and Rogue end up breaking him out of jail, which is and again, I watched this specific episode in order to prep for the show. How the fuck did Beast end up in jail? They end up running into Beast in the prison, like, oh, what's good, nigga? He's like, oh, what's up? Like, oh, you want us to break you out too? He's like, no, I'm good. I'm just chilling here, waiting for court. I'm just
Oh,
waiting for court.
so Beast gets arrested along with I want to say, yeah, they thought Morph was dead and Beast got arrested. This was like in the first episode.
Oh.
So yeah, and it's like how instead of breaking him out, he chose to like go through the chain of custody and wait for his court date. Because I remember, if memory serves me correctly, in the second episode, Magneto breaks someone else out and then goes to break him out. And he's like, "No, I'm going to stay."
Oh yeah, yep. I did. I actually ran across that while I was prepping for the Magneto episode. Like, this man Beast is different. He's built different. I don't know. If I'm in jail for a crime I didn't commit, and my peoples come through to break somebody else out, and they happen to see me there, and they're like, "Yo, need a hand?" I'm going with them. Yeah, take this door off the hinges. Well, to be fair, he could have taken the door off his hinges himself. He could have broke out himself without a problem. He definitely could have. He could have broke out on his own.
And it wasn't even no one wild that was locked up. It wasn't Gambit. It wasn't fucking Wolverine. It was Beast.
Of all people, the gentle giant of the group. Until he doesn't have to be gentle anymore. Literally, the gentle giant. Like, this man's literally, He's literally hanging upside down, reading a book with his glasses on. They're like, "Yo, you good, bro? Want us to get you out of here?" Nah, I'm just chilling, just waiting for my court date. But hey, yo, definitely tell who was it? He said, "Yeah, tell Jeannie to come by and come visit again. I definitely want to try her pie again." They're like, there was. Ah. I know that noise very well. I know that noise very well. Um, this man Beast having conjugal visits with Jean Grey. I'm dead. Um, but anyways, they end up breaking Colossus out, and in order to prove his innocence or whatever. And Beast tells him, he's like, "Yo, no, don't go ahead. My friends, they go, my people's ready. They're gonna take care of you. This, just chill with them. They'll prove your innocence. Yeah, just let Gene know to come by next week. Let me get some of that pie or whatever it was. It was some kind of food that she had made. Somebody was visiting him, bringing him food while he was in jail, and he was just, that's all he was worried about. He wasn't worried about getting out. He was worried about the food or the coffee, whatever one. Um, but yeah, they end up, and now this story involves that the only mutants really involved in this, the X-Men are involved in this, are Storm, Rogue, Colossus, I believe Jubilee, and Wolverine. If memory serves correctly. Now, what I actually found out interesting about Juggernaut is that he technically has the fastest and the best healing factor of the entire Marvel universe. Like, as long as with Deadpool, it will take him a while. Like, if there's just like one blood cell of him left, it will take him a long time to regenerate. But with Colossus, with Marco, as long as there's one cell of him, he can regenerate like within a day. Like, there's a moment where he actually got disintegrated down to a skeleton. It was still alive. All he was just a skeleton, still alive, holding who the fuck was it? He was holding somebody by the throat, and all he had was his helmet. His bands were like hanging onto his skeleton, and it was just a damn skeleton, and it was still alive.
The Juggernaut?
Like, yeah, the Juggernaut.
Shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The powers of Sidorak are no fucking joke, dude. Which, speaking of Sidorak, so for those who don't know, Doctor Strange doesn't have powers himself. All Doctor Strange's powers, they're lended to him by extra dimensional beings. Which I find really awesome because that means that Sidorak is in the MCU. So if you remember back to the fight on Titan and a few other times, he does a spell and these red ribbons come out from behind him and they kind of like tie whoever it is up. And he did that on the Battle of Titan. He tied Thanos up with these red ribbons. Those red ribbons are the bands of Sidorak.
Oh.
Yeah, nigga, now you sound like me. It started to sound like me in these shows now. Yeah, those red bands are the bands of Sidorak, bro. So that means Sidorak is a part of the MCU. Thus, Juggernaut is a part of the MCU.
Okay. Yo, I did not catch that.
Like, I had thought about it at one point because like the name the name sounded really familiar, but it didn't really click to me until I started doing research for the show, and I'm like, oh, damn, all right, okay, now, now that was just like a little fun fact that that kind of like really like blew my mind real quick. I'm like, oh shit. because that is really is a big thing with Doctor Strange. Like any of the even his ability to control time comes from the Eye of Agamotto. Any spells that he does are lended to him. All the powers he has are lended to him by these extra dimensional beings, which is why he always tries to be on the good foot with the extra dimensional world.
Correct.
Now, again, so this builds in this motherfucker Sidorak is no fucking joke. Like his power expands multiple dimensions and realms. Oh, did you know Thor can't even beat Juggernaut?
Oh, that I definitely believe.
Yeah. So one of Juggernaut's abilities is that he has his invisible force field around him.
Yes.
And so there's an issue where Thor's talking all that good shit, like, oh, bet you ain't gonna do, you can't do nothing. I'm Almighty Thor, whatever. And he throws Mjolnir at him. And Juggernaut is standing there. He was like, yeah, so, bro, just so you know, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I have a force field around me. And as we speak, my force field is affecting Mjolnir. And as it's flying towards me right now, it's slowing down. Your mallet, he calls it a mallet. He's like, your little mallet won't even touch me. Thor was like, yeah, right, that's talking all this good shit. Sure enough, Mjolnir stops right in front of him, and can't penetrate that force field. And then when Thor goes to call it back, Juggernaut grabs Mjolnir as it's flying back to him. Hits this motherfucker Thor so hard, he flies through 7 train cars and a building.
Shit. So wait, is Juggernaut worthy?
No, because remember, he didn't wield Mjolnir. He wasn't lifting Mjolnir. He just hung onto it while it was flying, like Spider-Man. Yeah. He grabbed. Mjolnir has that little leather handle, leather like little rope at the bottom that he hangs onto that Thor hangs it onto his belt. So he grabbed that as Thor pulled it back. And it started, and pretty much the force of Juggernaut, again, once he starts moving, you cannot stop him. Plus the force at which Mjolnir was flying back to him, all that combined, hit this motherfucker. Straight yeeted him. The only other person that has been, the only other person that's able to yeet Juggernaut was Scar. Scar yeeted this motherfucker into space. One punch hit him with an uppercut. Like, they battled it out real quick, and now that whole situation was bullshit. That was Bruce. Bruce fucking bombed Juggernaut's house, Marco's house, and then blamed it on Scar. So his son can get some rep timing, get some experience in. And so,
I'm saying,
now they're battling right now.
Right.
What?
I'm saying, if you're gonna have your kid fight, have him fight a real nigga. Right. And Bruce he's not in Hawk form. He's in Banner form. Glasses, button up t-shirt, and everything. And he's standing next to Scar while Juggernaut's walking up. He's like, he did it. Professor Hulk.
Now they get to scrap and bump. They going hard. And the whole point of this was to see if to teach Scar that brute force wasn't always the answer, and that a lot of times in battle he had to use his brain and to think strategically, and that's because that's the only way to actually beat Juggernaut is to outwit him.
If you can't stop him psychically, correct?
Exactly. Exactly. So Scar ends up outwitting him, ends up landing one good blow on him, one good fucking full charge uppercut, and sent this motherfucker into space. To the point where the panel in the comic book, all you see is Juggernaut, like it's an overhead shot of him flying up to space, and he says, "This is some bull," and it just cuts it off.
I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else in the MC in the Marvel Comics universe who is physically empowered by magic?
I'm pretty sure there is.
Like I know certain people have like
Um,
enhanced strength, but they're not like super strong to the content that he is. Because like the Ghost Rider would be, but because there's really there's really no issues or main stories I can remember where he really squares off with someone who's his equal in magic.
mm, no, not that I can think of. Speaking of that, there's a moment where he actually gets. So there's multiple times where he pretty much gets sent to another dimension. Multiple times Juggernaut gets sent to another dimension, and that again, that's one of the only ways they can motherfucking stop this motherfucker by sending him out of Earth or into another realm. So the first time he gets sent into another realm, he gets sent back to the Crimson Realm with Sidorak.
Mm-hmm.
There, he actually ends up learning. He actually learns magic himself, and then he ends up coming back, starts some bullshit, and then it was the Dark Child, Colossus' sister in her dark form, that actually rips the. What was that? Magic, yeah. She ends up ripping the gem out of him, ends up sending him into limbo. So now this is where a lot of the newer comic books end up pick up with Kane. The one of the I wouldn't say the latest run because this was definitely a few years ago. This is where we end up picking up with Kane, where he no Juggernaut powers or abilities, and he's stuck in limbo himself. So he lands and he ends up pretty much stringing the armor together. Mind you, this armor is heavy as shit.
Right.
He strings it together and now he's pulling it through limbo. And he doesn't know where he's going, doesn't know how he's gonna get out or if he's gonna get out. And he has a shit ton of time to kind of like reflect on his life, his choices, and what he's done. And essentially he ends up coming to this tree. Coming to what's called the crossroads. And he gets to a point where he's just like, you know what? I'm tired of carrying this shit, tired of carrying this armor. I'm just gonna leave it here. He picks up struggles, picks up the helmet and hangs the helmet on the tree. And once he does that, he's immediately teleported back to the Earth realm, to the Earth realm, to Earth. So the thing about go ahead.
I was about to say the Earth realm was that we talking about Shang Tsung?
I mean, it's along those lines, whatever you want to call it. He gets transported back to Earth. So what we end up finding out is that at the crossroads, it's at a point where you pretty much got to make a choice. And in order to get out of limbo, in order to use the crossroads, you pretty much have to give up your past, give up your baggage, give up all that shit from behind you and move forward. That's the only way to continue moving forward. Is to, get rid of your past or let go of your past. So by him doing that, that was him saying, all right, well, shit, I'm not Juggernaut no more. I'm done. Hanging up his helmet, literally. And that's how he ends up getting back to Earth. Now, they find, somebody finds his body. He gets put in the hospital. He's on all these tubes and shit. And he ends up getting visited by Charles psychically. And this is like later on. I'm talking like this is Charles Xavier that has the mobile cerebral on his head with the big X on the helmet.
Yep.
And they're talking. He's like, hey bro, I appreciate you coming to check on me. What did you come to make sure I was good so I can come live with you on fuck was it called? Starts with a K. Croa or something
Colonizer
like that.
Island.
What was it?
Colonizer Island.
Oh, but yeah, it's like called Crow or something. And um, Charles is like, listen, you're family. I love you. You're my brother, but you're not a mutant, so you can't come to Crow. You can't set foot on Crow. You're not a mutant. And of course, in this storyline, they're going with him not having any kind of X gene whatsoever. And with Croa, it's literally specifically for mutants. Like mutants can't even have family that are non-mutants live with them. They're completely cut off from the human world. So it's like, listen, bro, since you're not a mutant, you can't come live here. Um, so what ends up happening is he's like, all right, whatever, I see that, but I still appreciate you coming to check on me and shit like that. Eventually he ends up getting out the hospital and he ends up going on a journey. He's like, fuck, I'm like nothing without my powers. He goes on a journey to pretty much kind of try to regain back his Juggernaut powers. So he ends up hiring like this adventure guide or whatever, and he ends up leading him to a temple that it was, I think it's called the Omniscience, which was that group of 8 demons or whatever.
Right,
The
right.
Omniscience, yeah. And he's leading him to like this tomb or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, bet Sidorak, I'm home." And that's when the tour guide looks at him and is like, "Hold on, holy shit, you're Kane Marco, you're the Juggernaut. I don't recognize you without your armor. Um, what are you doing here? Like, what do you want out of this place?" He's like, "To become recognizable again, to become recognized again." And when he ends up finding a chest that has shards of the ruby in it. But he's like, "Fuck, I can't get any power out of this, really. So I got to find something else." So he continues his journey. He ends up finding a guy that ends up leading him up to the top of this snowy ass fucking mountain somewhere, wherever, and he ends up finding what's called the Forge of Sidorak. Now we end up finding out that there's forges like these everywhere. There's like eight of these forges, one for each one of those omniscient demon beings, and that was like the place where like their armor is forged and shit like that for their avatars.
Makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, so he's up finding a guy there who pretty much has been running the forge and is a follower of Sidorak. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm here to find armor or something." When he gets in there, he looks up, and lo and behold, sorry, since the roles have switched for this episode, lo and behold, what he finds is hanging from the ceiling are the red bands of Sidorak.
Mm.
Now, the guy that's been running the forge, he's like, "Oh, hold on. Yeah, I know who you are. You're Kane Marco. You're the Juggernaut. You've come here to regain your status as, the human Juggernaut. I can't let that happen." So kind of find out the guy had been working in the forge and taking over the forge in order to kind of appease Sidorak because he wanted to become the Juggernaut. He wanted
Not on my
Sidorak
part.
to, right? He wanted Sidorak to choose him to be the next Juggernaut. So now he's face to face with the old Juggernaut. He's like, "Nah, fuck that, bro. You're not finna take this from me. Hell no." So here's a running down on him with a sledgehammer. Now they get to fight, bang, 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 bang. While they're scrapping, the chains that were holding the red bands up end up falling. Of
Mm.
course, They fall on top of Marco, and he's immediately transported back to the Crimson Realm, and he's face to face with Sidorak. And so he tells him, "Hey, pretty much his usual shit. Hey, yo, what's good? You back? Go and do what I've taught you to do." But when Kane gets back, he's like, I don't really want to do that. So we end up picking up later on with Kane working for DC, the damage control. And pretty much what their job is like whenever there's kind of like a giant calamity, which there usually is when there's a superhero fight, when there's any damage and shit like that, their job is to come in and clean it up. So, end up, taking down buildings that have been absolutely destroyed, cleaned up and shit like that. So now he ends up going into this building where they're like, yo, there's a bunch of squatters in there. Their job is to get them out and take down the building. So he goes to walk into the building and he can't move. He gets stopped. He's like, what the fuck's going on? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. How the fuck am I not stopping? Yeah, he doesn't say that verbatim, but I would have if I was in that situation.
Oh god.
Now, mind you, when we get these red bands, it's not said what his power level is now, but it's kind of clear that he's like common sense would say he's not as strong as he was before, because like while the gym was a direct connection to Sidorak, the red bands are a kind of like a adjacent connection to Sidorak. So common sense would say he's not as strong. But they're like, so he stops and he looks at the damage control guys. He's like, yo, and they're like, yo, hold on. I think one of these squatters might be a mutant, and they might have the kinetic, the ability to, control kinetic energy. Like, well, all right. So he starts walking through, takes his helmet off, and now this is where we get to see a different Kane Marco, a different kind of Juggernaut. He's walking through. He's like, yo, I'm not here to hurt any of y'all. I'm here to let y'all know, like, yo, y'all got to get out this building. Like, I've taken a lot of buildings down in my lifetime, and I'm telling you, this building is finna come down on its own, with or without me being here. So you guys are in a lot of danger. I'm here to help y'all get up out of here so we can take down the building before somebody gets hurt. Now, this is different. It's like, whoa, hold on. Juggernaut trying to help somebody?
Right.
That's different. And so he ends up getting jumped by this black chick who does in fact end up having the ability to control kinetic energy. And this, I mentioned her earlier, goes by the name of D-Cell. Now, her and Juggernaut end up start getting into it. And now this shit's pissing him off because he's like, fuck, I cannot keep moving forward. She's like pushing against him. Now they're in a collision. He's colliding where her powers, and he keeps trying to push through it. Now again, she's young and inexperienced. She's like, and he's telling her, she's like, go, just stop. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help y'all get up out of here. You're a mutant too. I'm on the mutant side. And the whole time she's like, I'm not a fucking mutant. The fuck you talking about? Just stop moving. Now this whole time he's still trying to push through. And as he's pushing through, it's weakening her. As a weakener, she stopped using her powers, and they both end up falling through the floor. Now, what they don't show is that her friends, the other squatters, were recording this entire situation. Now, she's trapped underneath this rubble. Kane's freaking out. He's like, yo, put your fucking phones down and help me out. Help me get your friend from underneath this rubble. What the fuck y'all doing? He ends up saving her, ends up bringing her to the hospital. And he stays with her the whole time until she wakes up. One second, I'm going to take a sip.
Sipping rum myself, tonight. Sipping some rum.
Salud. What kind of rum?
Captain. What else?
Mm. I prefer Bayesian. I prefer Bayesian rum myself. But not Captain's all right.
That would have nothing to do with your roots, would it?
Oh, 100%. 100%. But also, I like the flavor. The flavor is like it's sweet. Like Mount Gay rum, no relation to LGBTQIA plus. But yeah, Mount Gay rum. It's a Bayesian rum, really good. Do not recommend plantation Bayesian rum. That shit would listen. If you're a woman and you drink plantation rum, you're a man.
Whoa. That escalated quickly.
That shit, bro. That shit. Oh, you were stronger than I am, Miss Lady. That shit will put hair on your chest and make you grow balls. I will never drink that shit again. Man. Ooh. Man, I finished the bottle, but god damn, I sounded like I had a fucking stoma. I regret the day I ever picked up a cigarette. I swear to God. Ooh, damn. Man, I matured. I took a sip of that shit. I think I was like what? I think I was like 25 when I drank that shit. Bro, I took a sip of that shit. I swear to God, I aged another 10 years. That shit had me talking and thinking like I was like 45 or some shit. 35. That shit is wild. Like,
That went so fast. Oh, wow.
ooh. Boy, oh. Oh yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Cheers. Like it so she ends up waking up and they get to talking and shit. And he's like, "Oh, you good? This is and that." She's like, "Oh, what's up? Oh, shit, you're the Juggernaut. You actually stayed." And come to find out, Roxxon, for those who don't know, Roxxon Fuel and Energy. Apparently, they end up having a social media thing called RoxTube, kind of like their MCU's version of YouTube. And she's like, "Yo, my friends was recording the whole time. Was recording our battle or fight." He's like, "Yeah, it wasn't really a fight, but okay. It got over 1 million views. Like this shit's trending right now." And he's like, "Oh, well, shit. All right, dope. That's cool, I guess. Like, all right." So
Really nice.
and they start like going back and forth. He's like, "Yo, listen. It looks like you're trying to really turn over a new leaf, and you're really trying to like be good and shit. So, you're working for damage control, doing this and that, but like you really should be using your powers to help out." And she shows him. She's like, "Yo, listen. The Immortal Hulk is on a rampage right now. I'm a part of a group for the people that the Hulk has victimized, and he's on a rampage right now. If you really want to do some kind of good, instead of tearing down broken buildings and shit like that, why don't you go try to stop him?" And he's like, "Yeah, nah, I'm not trying to do all that. This and that." She's like, "Well, listen." And he's like, "Yeah, I work for damage control. They're not gonna do anything about that." She's like, "Bet." So if I go out and I start telling people that I almost died because damage control tried to demolish a building with squatters in it because squatters' rights, that's gonna look kind of bad for you and your people, ain't it? So sure enough, damage control is like, "Yeah, no problem. Yeah, let's go stop the Hulk." They go to stop the Hulk. Juggernaut gets washed. Just not even a chance. Just completely washed by the Hulk. Like, bro, this man is getting like puny godded. Like puny godded. Just straight wrecked. And now mind you, Juggernaut was the only person in the Marvel comics that could go toe to toe with the Hulk.
Initially, yes, very true.
But now he's getting washed by the Hulk.
So I got a question.
So that go ahead.
So if she could slow his kinetic energy, could she also reverse that and make it more durable and faster?
Mm-hmm. She has the ability to slow and or speed up.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but in that moment, but again, she's young. She doesn't know this yet. She only knows about slowing shit down. So, what she ends up doing is, while damage control is trying to set up their machine to kind of like, slow the Hulk down or whatever, she uses her own powers to start slowing Hulk down to give Juggernaut a chance. Because again, he's getting his ass beat. Like, you remember when like you would get in trouble in school and your teacher called your parents and you
Yeah.
did some dumb shit? Yeah. Ass royally beat. This thing Juggernaut was getting his ass beat like a redheaded stepchild whose stepfather has a drinking problem.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Like on the like he could have like Hulk was about to kill this motherfucker. So she ends up slowing Hulk enough, and she verbally says, she's like, "Holy shit, yo, he's stronger than you are." Because remember, she struggled with slowing him down in the beginning, but managed to slow. She struggled to slow Juggernaut down, but she managed to do it. So if she's like, "Yo, he's stronger than you are," I'm struggling. Like, so she's like, "Fuck it, this is what I'm gonna do." So you know how Hulk is. You hit him, he hits you. So now she's hitting him with this power, so now he's coming at her. So she starts slowly decreasing her powers and pretty much baiting him into her while damage control is behind her. And he gets close enough, Juggernaut grabs and damage control hits the little gamma ray shit, ends up weakening the Hulk enough that they can that Juggernaut could beat his ass and capture him. Now here's the wild shit. And this is where this story is kind of like this story is kind of like it's kind of like a cautionary tale. It's kind of like a story to kind of give you some information before the big shit happens. So pretty much they end up bringing Hulk on trial. They end up putting him in containment field. He's sitting there, and all these people that Hulk has victimized or hurt start pretty much cussing him out. Like, bro, you fucking destroyed my house. You did this, destroyed my car, this, that, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you destroyed my house. My father was so scared that he had a heart attack 2 days later. This and that. You did all this bullshit, this and that. And now Kane, Marco's standing there and he's hearing all this. And he starts reflecting like, damn, shit. But then Hulk's standing there inside and he's smiling the whole time. And they're like, oh, look at him. He doesn't even feel guilty about it. He's smiling. Now, this is immortal Hulk. This is Hulk with a brain. This is smart Hulk. This is Hulk who's able to talk, speak, understand. This is not childish mind Hulk. So he's intelligent. And so he's smiling and he starts laughing. Breaks out of the containment field. And Marco goes to take him down. He's like, nah, bro, it's good. I'm not trying to fight. I just want to say something. Y'all sitting here talking all this shit about me and all the shit that I destroyed and I broke and I did this and that. Y'all can say the same thing about this motherfucker standing right here next to me. He's done the same exact shit that I've done, and yet I'm standing here on trial. Yeah, think about that one. He hits a communicator to Shadow Base, which is kind of like the organization he was working for, and they teleport him out. And now Kane's standing there like, shit. And he starts telling people, like, you know what? He's right. And the difference between me and him is he has an excuse. When he did all the shit that he did, he had the mind of a child. He didn't know any better. He was only hitting whatever hit him. Me, on the other hand, I knew exactly what I was doing. I'm a grown ass man. I made those choices to hurt people, to destroy this, to destroy that. He's like, he's better than me, and I shouldn't be standing here. And like that's what it kind of really sinks in with him. Like, fuck, like I really did some shit. And so after all that, him and the chick, D-Cell, they end up getting, damage control ends up flying them out. But when they land, there's a dude in a suit waiting for Kane. And he's like, and the guy walks up to him, he's like, hey, so you've been served. You're being sued by a company for like $21 million, by a construction company for $21 million for the destruction that you caused and putting them out of business. I'm like, damn, you got sued? How the fuck did a Juggernaut and you get sued?
That's a good question, but I mean, it's one of those things where his identity might not necessarily have been secret.
Yeah, no, it was. Oh no, it was. Yeah, I believe at this time everyone knew who he was. Yeah, so he actually goes to court, and they're talking on this like, oh, trying to sue him, this and that, blah 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 blah, so on and so forth, and then so pretty much they were suing him for when he broke out of the concrete after 7 months of being encased after Spider-Man put him in there, and so he starts to win the case because they're like, he didn't do that. He was just getting out of a situation that Spider-Man put him in. Spider-Man sunk him in to cement. And it took him 7 months to get out. So our client was just trying to survive at that point. So any damages shouldn't be on him. It should be on Spider-Man. As he's doing that, they end up getting attacked by some sand being. Like the court gets attacked by some sand being. Kind of find out the sand being is there for the girl, D-Cell. Whatever, they end up going through this whole fight battle. They end up taking her down, and come to find out that it's a part of a bigger plan. And the person that's been controlling it all is the fucking dude that was in that was in the computer in Winter Soldier, Armin Zordan.
Arnim
Zola, yeah, Zola. And pretty much he was in charge of it all. So they end up finding him, and he's been like kidnapping mutants and experimenting on them and shit like that, blah 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 blah. He ends up getting captured by this other mutant that's kind of like plastic or whatever. That Zola was working with Zola, and he gets put in his container. The chick ends up jumping out, ends up entering the facility to try to save him. She gets captured too. Now, Marco mentally ends up getting teleported back to the Crimson Realm by Sidorak. And Sidorak's like, all right, what's good? You need to go do your thing. I command you to go forth and destroy. And this Marco looks at him and he's like, bro, I'm not even really here. I'm here mentally. I'm in Earth. I'm still on Earth right now. So, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. Fuck this. I'm not listening to you. I'm not taking orders from nobody no more. I'm gonna do my own thing. No pun intended. He's like, fuck you. Fuck the red throne that you sit on. Fuck this red realm that you live in. I'm out, cuh. And pretty much is like, I'm not gonna follow any madman. I'm gonna do what I want to do, whether it be good or whether it be bad. You no longer have any control of me anymore. And so he ends up, coming back ends up breaking out and proceeds to beat the ever loving shit out of Zola. And Zola has at this time he has like he's a computer, so he's like controlling this robot, beats the shit out of him. And Zola he admits, he's like, yo, to be honest, y'all, I didn't even really want to do this in the first place. I'm being forced to do this by somebody else. So there's even bigger, something bigger going on at play. They don't tell us what it is in the storyline, but it's fucking sick. So at the end of this, D-Cell and new kind of like anti-hero, I'd say, Juggernaut, and I'm going off to kind of like take out this big whatever that's going on. So for me, that's been my favorite storyline so far. Aside from when Juggernaut ends up getting the power of some Norse god by Odin's brother, yeah, that nobody knew he had, who was actually the actual heir to Asgard. Now I don't remember what storyline that is, but that's the storyline in which Sidorak ends up tapping um he ends up tapping Colossus to be Juggernaut to take him down. So I personally
I find it interesting they're
I
doing a lot of. Oh, my fault.
no, go ahead.
No, I find it interesting that they're doing a lot of tie-ins with Norse mythology opposed to Russian mythology.
This is true. Um
Because I mean, if Colossus is Russian, how come there's not like a Russian deity or? But maybe I'm overreading that situation.
yeah, I it was only because it was Kitty Pryde. um it wasn't Jean Grey. It was somebody else that had kind of similar powers, and Colossus that actually went to the realm and was like, "Yo, listen, this man, Kane Marco out here bugging out. He's been imbued with the power from another god." Sidorak ain't like that shit. He's like, "Nah, bro, you're my avatar. What the fuck are you doing? You out here, you out here cheating on me with other gods? Nah, I can't have that." So he ends up stripping Kane of the Juggernaut power, but he's still powered by. He ends up becoming like Stone Crusher or some shit like that. Um, I can't remember. He ends up taking on a new name, and he's then powered by a hammer, just like Thor, but it's a
Uh,
massive fucking warhammer.
this is during Fear itself.
Uh huh. Yeah, during
During
the
that
Fair Itself
storyline,
storyline. Yep. Yep.
I
And so he ended
want
up.
to say
What was it? Hmm. I'm trying to think. I can't remember what it was. Um, Fear Itself. It was Odin.
I
It
want
wasn't Thor's brother. It was Odin's brother.
I want to say he was the breaker of stone. It was something like with like
Uh,
a K or a Q or something like that.
what was his name? I literally just so he ends up being possessed by an ancient Asgardian god, armed with a divine weapon. Kane Marco helps us answer the age-old question: what happens when an unstoppable force
Leave
gets
the word lodge
a
at.
really big hammer? Shit, what was it? Um,
He said when an unstoppable force meets a really big hammer. I'm
was
imagining
it?
crazy amounts of wanton destruction is what I'm imagining.
And I believe that was a part of Thunderbolts. What was that, brother?
Thunderbolt.
You cut out.
Wow, you said the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was Thunderbolts Fear itself. It was that run.
Okay. The sphere itself was pretty broad. It went across a lot of the multiverse, not the multiverse, a lot of the Marvel universe. Excuse me. Now, did you ever come across
Yeah.
anything that he was doing with Black Tom Cassidy?
Yeah, so that was also a part of his early years as well. Oh, it was Kurith, the Hammer of Kurith, or if I'm saying that right, Hammer of Kurith. Now that now let's talk about the Black Tom Cassidy situation. It was actually the first issue of Fear itself. It was the very first issue of Fear itself, April 2011, by Matt Friction and Stuart Immonen.
Well, Black Tom Cassidy is another mutant who is actually he's often considered to be Marco's best friend, and they often go on missions together when Marco's working on the side of evil, quote unquote. Now, for whatever reason, Black Tom
Nah,
Cassidy
like
has the
he ends up working really closely with Black Tom Cassidy.
Black Tom, for whatever reason, has the ability to manipulate wood. I don't know why he has that ability, but that is his ability.
You still there, brother? Can't hear you at all.
Yeah, he has the ability to manipulate wood. I just went over that. You didn't come through at all.
Oh,
Testing,
see?
testing. Yeah, I'm coming through
Ooh,
on
all
my end.
right.
You're not
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
me?
You're back now. Run that back.
Oh,
Nah, nah,
damn.
nah, nah, nah.
So yeah, Black Tom Cassidy is a
Yeah,
mutant.
run that back. So Black Tom Cassidy is a mutant, awfully.
He's often associated with the Juggernaut as his right hand as his partner. And Black Tom Cassidy has the ability to manipulate wood for whatever reason. I don't know why they gave him that ability.
What?
Yeah, he can
Okay.
he
He's
can
able to
focus.
manipulate wood.
Yes, he can focus blasts of heat from his hands, and he can manipulate wood. Yeah, I know. I think it's goofy also
Okay.
because I believe when he appears in the cartoon, you actually see him. He usually walks around with a wooden staff. That way, he has something to manipulate. But this is why when you said when he meets the girl, what was her name again?
D-Cell.
D-Cell. If D-Cell could accelerate the Juggernaut, if anything, she'd make him more lethal and more destructive because she could add to the kinetic energy that he builds up.
Mm-hmm.
So that would actually make them like the perfect tag team, but she just makes him more destructive than what he already is, opposed to Black Tom Cassidy, who's somewhere slinging wood.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Oh, my God. Slinging wood. Black Tom Cassidy, the wood slinger. Okay. We'll rock with that. We'll go with that. Wow. But they ended up they teamed up quite a few times. Um, and I don't know, brother, if you're talking, I can't hear you.
Nah, I'm
And it got
listening.
to oh yeah, and it got to a point where they're just like, you know what? Only way we're gonna stop getting our asses kicked by the X-Men is we team up, and we're gonna need some extra help. So I need to recruit some other beings to help them out.
And if memory serves me correctly, this is what actually leads to the third incarnation of the Brotherhood, along with Exodus and Avalanche.
Mm. Woo. Damn, I don't know why this tequila's hitting rough tonight. Ugh. Woo. Damn. All right. Wow. Oh, sorry about that. Damn. That hit hard. Um. Now, I would definitely love to see them do more with Black Tom Cassidy, because we kind of only really see him with Juggernaut and those few issues.
Well, you saw him briefly in Deadpool 2, where he gets shot in the face where he's in the cell, and he's like, "You shot Black Tom, you racist son of a bitch."
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Um. Yeah. I felt that was fucked up. We need more than that. They need to do more than that. Um. But I don't know. We have to kind of like wait and see to what Deadpool and Wolverine does to the MCU, because this, as we all know, the MCU is kind of trash right now. MCU is type trash right now. They don't really have much going for them.
He didn't. He
Me
didn't
personally, like,
buffer. He didn't know. He didn't. He didn't pull his punch. He went straight for the head with a sledgehammer.
listen, I took my notes from Thanos. Should have gone for the head, so I'm going for the head. I'm not sugarcoating no more. They're like the MCU is like they have dropped the ball with this saga. They've dropped the ball. Like, fuck the shit that happened with Jonathan Majors. Forget about all that. Fuck all that. No. They dropped the ball well before the whole shit with Jonathan Majors.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, name one hit. Name one hit that they've made within this whole saga, multiverse saga.
Mm. Are we counting?
Yeah, we're counting TV too.
No, I was gonna ask. Are we counting since the second snap?
Yeah, since the start of the saga, since the end of the Infinity Saga.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give him.
Spider-Man No Way Home. Other than that, it's been boop, boop.
All right. Okay, I'll give them two. I'll give them Spider-Man, No Way Home, and I'll give them Volume 3 for Guardians. I thought that was pretty good.
I don't.
It was, what do you think? What did you think?
I mean, I appreciate the humor, get in the fucking car, but it's like I can't. I don't know. I didn't like the Ultra Human Knight and the whole thing with Rocket disfiguring his face, and I get that he's like, he was doing everything he was doing, but it was still goofy to me.
Really,
Like,
I thought he was supposed to be the High Evolutionary.
what I said, that's it, Ultra Human Knight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was me getting my DC brain to fix my Marvel stuff. That you're correct.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm torn on it. Okay, so I give it. All right, so I'll give No Way Home an A plus. No Way Home A plus.
Okay.
Guardians Volume 3, I give like a B minus.
I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah, but also your ass kept falling asleep during the damn movie.
Yeah, my bad. But I went back and watched it since then.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, but other than that, so those are the top two hitting movies. And Guardians 3 came out after No Way Home, and it was everything after that has just been all downhill from there. So, and want to know what I blame?
Go ahead.
Doing too much. They were trying to do way too much. So, when they first said that they're what phase is this? 5?
5 going into 6, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe it's 5 going to 6 because Secret Wars is supposed to be the end of 6, into phase 6. So when they first announced that they're going into phase 5, and sorry to get off track from Juggernaut, we're going to circle back to him. They said that they were going to go cosmic. They wanted to open up the universe, so they wanted to go cosmic.
Oh,
So
here we go.
Right, the Marvels made sense. Doing Captain Marvel made sense. She's a cosmic hero, cosmic being. Big boo. Big boo. I give that shit a D minus. I only give it a D minus. Only give it a D minus because I enjoyed the scene of all them connecting, them building their rapport, all three characters. I enjoyed that scene, and the one in the cutscene. Spoiler alert, motherfucking spoiler alert. I'm saying it now. And the one in the cutscene where they introduced the other world and had the X-Men, and they actually visually show Beast, um, with a more comic book and animated series accurate Beast. Um, that's it. That's the only reason why it gets a D plus and not an F minus. Only reason why. And the Eternals, Cosmic, um, uh, Shang-Chi, Cosmic, all right. They had 3 movies because Eternals started off that phase. So like, all right, they're going Cosmic with little hints of Blade and the Black Knight in there. Cool. And now with No Way Home, where they actually brought in the cutscene, they brought Venom in, and he left a bit of symbiote there. Cosmic. Okay, we see when at the end of Eternals, we see the Black Blade, the Necro Sword, which is the sword of Null. Okay, Cosmic. Thor: Love and Thunder, absolute dog shit of a movie, dog shit of a Marvel movie. Like, and then we end up seeing Gore wielding the Necrosword, the Black Blade, the God Butcher. All right, Cosmic, cool. But then they fucked up by trying to do Cosmic and Multiverse at the same time. You can't do that. The Cosmic side of Marvel and the Multiverse side of Marvel are both way too vast of an arena to try to put together and do at the same time and do it justice, especially within their timeline of constraints. It's too much. It's too much.
I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where it might not have been too much. I think it was just done wrong. And the reason why I say that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Because the reason why I say that is we have a broad spectrum of characters we can play with, but it's like who have we done correctly all the way through? Who doesn't need to be rewritten? Because look what happened with the Inhumans.
Yeah, that could have definitely opened up. That definitely could have opened up the cosmic side of things as well. Yeah.
Right. Between them having issues with the Skrull, the Kree coming back. Let's not forget about the Shi'ar Empire and everything they had to go through, because they're the ones who were responsible for the Phoenix Force in the first place and how it got to Earth.
Yep. And don't we end up seeing them in the shithole of an X-Men movie, Dark Phoenix?
That they weren't.
Who are they supposed to be?
I really don't know, because they weren't the Shi'ar in name, but I thought that's who they were supposed to be.
Yeah. And my bad. I take back what I said about Dark Phoenix. It was not a shithole of a movie. It was a glory hole of a movie. And not like a nice kind of glory hole where, they have people cleaning the bathroom.
Whoa. Where is this going?
This is I want to this is like backdoor bar, like bathroom smells like shit, piss, and urine, like military latrine. And for those who are in the military, you know what I mean about the latrine. Go Army. You know what the latrines. I'm talking like backdoor, like country bumpkin, like glory hole with an uncircumcised, unclean, over 16 months uncleaned, uncircumcised penis type glory hole. I hated that movie with a burning passion.
I feel like I need a bath now. That's just it's disgusting. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. That's how bad that movie was to me. Like, I'd rather watch Apocalypse. Well, I'd rather watch Origins. I'd rather watch Wolverine Origins. I'm talking, and I'd rather watch the leaked Origins with no with like no CGI rendering Origins before I watch Dark Phoenix again.
Oh my god. Oh my god. We got so off track from what we were saying, but no.
Off track. Yes.
So
Sorry. Yeah.
so no, like I hear what you're saying, but my whole thing is also like I said, they could tie all this back in with the whole cosmic thing because the Ruby of Sidorak technically is not something that's earthbound. It's mystical. So it'd be like he could have a whole run in with Doctor Strange, or Doctor Strange could have wound up evolving. Excuse me, not evolving. He could wind up speaking to Xavier. Then Xavier becomes involved in Illuminati.
That works. No, I said that does work because in the comic books he does have a run-in with Doctor Strange, and that battle had to get broken up by Eternity, and that was actually the second time he got thrown into another dimension. Juggernaut got thrown into another dimension.
How do you feel about his son?
Hey, Marco's son?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to enlighten me on that. I didn't know he had a son.
Oh yeah, he calls himself J2.
Oh, now, yeah. I don't really know too much. I don't know too much about him.
So he has a short run in the comics in the late '90s, and it was supposed to be that in a possible future, Juggernaut wound up settling down after being reformed and being resolved of his crimes, and has a son. His son named Zane, and how Zane winds up being able to not take his father's powers permanently, but he can like take them on for like a small periods of time. So he basically looks like a teenage Juggernaut, but his armor is gray, with a sheen polish, and then like you can see like how his uniforms like his clothes were like tied into his uniform. Like he used to wear like a red jacket tied around his waist like Arnold. So like he'd have one when he fought.
Yeah. Yep. All right. It's coming back to me now. I remember seeing the image of him. I never read the story of him. So he can take the powers of his father on momentarily.
Yes, for like an undisclosed amount of time.
That's gotta fucking suck. Like, imagine being Kane Marco. You're at home. You're sitting there. You're chilling, whatnot. You're brolic and diesel as shit. Whatever. You're doing that. Next thing you know, you start shrinking. Your power is gone. You're like, God damn it! This thing just at it again. I'm gonna turn on the TV. He's starting some bullshit. He gets home. So, what did you get up to today, huh, son? Oh, nothing much. Oh, really? So you want to explain to me why the fuck my truck decided to fall on top of me because I was working underneath it and I just lost my powers for some goddamn reason? You want to explain that to me?
So I was on this date with this chick, right? And I asked for cheesy fries and I got curly fries. I told the receptionist at the door what happened. She told me that the order's already been placed. There's nothing she can do about it. I felt some kind of way. They told me suck my dick. I was like, I got something for you to suck. And then I read the inscription. And this is what happened.
So you're telling me over a fucked up meal order, downtown is now leveled? All because you fucked up. Get to your goddamn room. Get to your room. Go to your room, goddammit. Give me the gym. Give me the goddamn gym. You're grounded. No gym. No gym for a month.
All I wanted was cheesy fries.
The fuck your cheesy fries. Get upstairs. You owe me a new car, goddammit. That shit fell. You're lucky I got a Healy factor, goddammit. Don't slam that goddamn door either. You throw it off the hinges. I'm not fixing it again. Damn, like imagine trying to discipline a son that can just take your powers.
Right.
Like, yeah, you gonna go take this ass whooping? Oh no, I'm not. You motherfucker, you.
Right. Like he goes from being 5'5" to 6'6". He goes from being 130 to like well over 700 pounds.
More than that. More than that. That's several tons. That's several tons. Going from barely being able to bench press 20 to now he's lifting the whole fucking gym.
Listen, I'd be showing off my gains every chance I got.
Dead ass. I'm like, yo, daddy, you're not gonna have your powers for a minute. Like, imagine that. You sitting there, imagine Kmart, you having a romantic night with your wife or whatever. Y'all get into the bedroom. She's waiting for you to, really, release that unstoppable force. You're sitting there, next thing you know, you start shriveling up, and I would be overly pissed. When he got home, oh my God. When he got back to the house, oh my God.
Go outside, get a switch. Matter of fact, fuck that, get a tree trunk.
Yeah. Pick the tree trunk that you want to get your ass beat with. We're playing baseball. Since you made me lose my wood, you're getting beat by some wood. Stop playing.
Pause. Do you understand how long me and your mother have been planning this night? That shit sounded nutty. He said you're gonna get beat with some wood because you made me lose my. That sounds crazy.
Something's gonna have to happen because I'm not gonna be in the middle of drilling my wife and then lose all sense of what the fuck I'm doing, lose all my power, and now I gotta sit here and be like, this don't usually happen, my son decided to take my powers. How do you explain that?
Well, listen, man. Like, why do you have to get his dick wet? He could have been in the middle of a fight. He could have been swimming across the Atlantic. He could have been robbing a bank. He had to be in the middle of getting his.
Yeah, you said he settled down. And what do people do when they settle down? Him and his wife, they trying to have some fun time. She's expecting that she's about to get rocked into the next fucking country. Next thing you know, she's suspecting that she one moment she has this big muscle bound ass man on top of her. Next thing she know, she got a fucking crack addict on top of her.
Oh my God.
Skin and bones. Skin and bones. One moment she's getting railed by fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. Next thing you know, she got a fucking cancer patient on top of her. What? No. Hell no. 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 Not in my house. Not in my house. We're gonna have to schedule times for this power usage there, son. I don't do no superhero.
Something is real wrong with you.
It's called Terramana.
Said you were sick and you need professional help.
They tried. I told them no. You can only help those who want to be helped.
Yeah. Listen, all you gotta do is put the bottle down. All right. See
I
that
know.
that Terramana tequila, that's like Jim Carrey putting on the mask, all right? It's just we all know what's gonna happen. It's just watch it unfold.
As I take another sip. Mm. Somebody stop me.
Yeah, the censors will stop you, nigga.
Fuck censorship. Freedom of speech, bitch.
He said, "Oh
Terramana
yeah."
Tequila. Please sponsor us.
He said, "I know all about the FCC."
Yo, let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick moment to hear from some amazing podcasters, amazing comic book artists, all black owned, all black operated. Let's take a moment to hear from our friends Midnight Comic, Room Full of Blurs, as well as Icarus Comics. Check out Midnight Comics podcast called Midnight Run on Spotify and their Patreon. They also have what's called Indie Versus, where you know what? I'm just let them tell you about it. I don't know what happened there. Never mind that. That wasn't supposed to happen there. Streamer's been acting up a little bit lately, so I do apologize for that. Again, let's have them talk to you about it.
Going on, everybody, Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Room Full of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I would have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
And we're back. No, yes, guys, please definitely go check them out. Room Full of Blurs, Midnight Comics, Indie Versus, Midnight Run. Check out Icarus Podcast. These guys are doing amazing things, amazing things. I want to give a shout out to someone else real quick. I want to give a shout out to Blurred Station. Blurred Station. They are a up and coming streaming service for blurs. For those who don't know, blurs are black nerds. So people like us, our people. So pretty much they're open up a streaming service that is full of shows and all creators that are black and black and proud first off and nerds. They recently just signed. What was that?
Say it loud.
Say it loud. I'm black and I'm nerdy and I'm proud. They recently just signed on 3 amazing A-list actors. Michael J. White, his wife Jillian White, and Mr. Nancy himself, Orlando Jones, to be writers and producers for Blurred Station. So, if you want to get ahead of the game, go check it out. Blurred Station. I don't know if they're still doing it, but Last I knew, if you register now and you sign up now, it's like 10.99 subscription. 10.99 subscription gets you 10% equity in the company. So if you want to build some kind of equity, you want to jump on something now that's going to be big later, Blurred Station is where you want to be. Shout out to Blurred's Eye View. Shout out to Room Full of Blurs. Shout out to Crazy Eight Greats. I believe that's the name. Shout out to everyone who's involved in Blurred Station. This is something amazing. This is something new. This is something that we need, and it's something that I'm interested in getting us a part of. Want to know what would be amazing, Triage?
Go ahead.
If we can get a regular if we can get a regular syndicated show for the Super Breakdown on Blurred Station, on an actual streaming service,
Mm.
end up being a legit talk show kind of shit, bro.
I smell what you're cooking.
Shout out to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Please sponsor us. Yeah, that's something that would be absolutely amazing. Like it's like Netflix style, going through. Oh, let's check out the new episode of the Super Breakdown. Like that would be absolutely amazing. So again, shout out to Blurred Station. Shout out to Midnight Comics. With their indie breakdown and their midnight run, and Melanin Minds is another podcast that you just started up by the co-founder of Midnight Comics. Again, Midnight Comics is a husband and wife, family owned and operated comic book company by Lloyd Jones and Tasha Jones. Shout out to Tasha starting up her own podcast called Melanin Minds for Black woman empowerment. Check it out. It's amazing. It's something that these are all things that we need as a culture. We need more. I'd say I'm tired of fighting, tired of arguing, I'm tired of yelling, I'm tired of wanting to be seen. I'm tired. I'm trying to get other people to see me. No, fuck that. We are going to be seen. So pretty much the same idea as Magneto and Xavier. If you won't see us, we gonna be seen by our own people. Then
Well,
we're gonna build our own area.
the issue that I think that we found more recently is that our representation between television, movies, and media is not the true representation of our people.
If I had the soundboard, I'd be talking, bro.
I'm still confused how we went from Dr. Huxtable to Lucius Lyon, but I can't think of a legitimate show that shows the middle-aged Black American family just trying to get through their day-to-day shit.
As much as I feel some kind of way about not family, about Family Matters being written by. Let me not go.
Go ahead, Tyler Farrakhan. Let him out. Let him out. Let him out.
No, I'm not doing that because I would not be called a fucking. What the fuck did he call Kanye when he said that shit about the Jewish people?
Oh, yeah. But like you said, man, like you can't have someone who doesn't deal with those type of issues or struggles write stories and situations about it. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because like in Family Matters, they had the first episode, they have the wife come in from work talking about oy vey. Oy vey. Nah, I can't necessarily get behind that. You know what I mean? Yet we got the Cosby Show, which truly showed a level of Black excellence, aside from whatever Cosby allegedly did. The show in itself was a prime example of what the black culture strives to be and strives to do. All we want is that 40 acres and a mule, nigga. We want what was promised.
I want 40 wives and a tool, but that's just me.
Yes, yes. But like, you know, and instead of fighting to be seen, to be heard, to be felt, to be thought about, to be respected, to be seen as equals. In the words of Miles Morales, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. So I feel like this is the perfect opportunity, and you know, I know we're segueing off. You know, this is the last 30 minutes. We usually go off on our own tangents and talk about, you know, whatever the fuck we want. But I really feel like that's what we have to do right now as a culture. Tired of fighting for reparations, tired of doing all that shit. You know what? I'm gonna do my own thing. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna find my own plot of land. I'm gonna find my own space, my own area, and I'm gonna build for my own. And especially being a black nerd, niggas used to get beat up for talking about anime. Niggas used to get beat up for reading comic books. Yeah, nah, fuck that. But now it's okay. Now it's cool. Now everyone's boohooing over and RIP Akira Toriyama. I just definitely want to put that out there. Um, a pioneer of the anime industry, the father of shonen. Um, we lost a great one in the first within the first week of this month. We lost a great one. My condolences to his family. Yeah, we lost a great one. You know, I learned a lot from his anime. I definitely learned a lot of life lessons, and a lot of people don't think that you can learn life lessons from an anime, from a cartoon. No, yeah, these are shows that are same way you can learn life lessons from like a live action show, whatever. Same way you can learn life lessons from a Family Matters. Same way you can learn a life lesson from fucking what's a white sitcom, from Raymond,
Friends.
Friends, Cheers,
But,
MASH. Same way you can learn life lessons from that. Same way you can learn life lessons from an anime or a cartoon, because they're written by real people who've been through real experiences in their life,
right.
and their way of expressing that shit is through their writing and through their animation.
Mm.
You can learn real shit. So I definitely want to give a big shout out to I will call him the father of modern anime. Father of modern anime. Because without him we wouldn't have One Piece. Shout out to Oda. Without him we wouldn't have we wouldn't even have a Bleach without Dragon Ball Z.
I don't think we'd have Naruto. I don't think we'd have Inuyasha.
Uh,
I don't think we'd have a lot of the modern day animes we have. But it's one of those things like when you're a pioneer in your field,
mm-hmm.
like that man literally was like he's literally the Stan Lee of anime.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. That is amazing. That is amazing comparison. Yes, he was literally the Stan Lee of anime. Wow. Wow. That's pretty prolific to me. Now I'm really thinking about it. Yeah. Hell, without him, we probably we wouldn't even have shows like Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
By people watching Dragon Ball Z, and I want to say this: our culture made anime popular. Our culture made anime popular, and it was Dragon Ball Z that our culture resonated with so heavily that we made it popular in America. You know what I'm saying? We resonated with the fact that we have a main character who knows nothing about his past. And then when you find out about his past, it's because he comes from a race of beings that was so strong and so superior to the rest that one other race of beings decided to destroy them and eradicate them and get rid of them because of their potential. And if you don't know, Power Farrakhan's coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second. Let me down this last shot of Terramana tequila. We're going to get it rolling. Hold on. For Toriyama. We resonated so hard with the Saiyan race because they were literally a race of beings that had a potential that was beyond any other to be an absolute motherfucking problem to the universe. That they had to destroy them. Blow up the whole motherfucking planet. You can literally count on your hands how many of them are left. Kakarot. I'll say this. Kakarot, Vegeta, and I'll count the ones that have died within Dragon Ball Z. I'll count them as well.
Nappa,
Kakarot,
Reddit.
Vegeta, Raditz, Nappa, Raleigh. And,
Turles?
yeah, I was about to say that. Is he canon?
I believe he is now. I remember Lloyd said that.
Yeah. And Turles. That's 6. That's only 6. And we're talking full Saiyan, not half Saiyan. We're talking full Saiyan. But now, if we're talking half Saiyan, Gohan, Gotenks, Han, Brawl, Trunks, that's only 11.
And some of these cats are some of the baddest motherfuckers in the universe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And want to know what we found out too? We find out that when a Saiyan, and I'll say breeds, I don't really like that word, but breeds with a human, their children become even stronger than full Saiyans. And what happened? Segregation. They didn't like the fact that our folk was mixing with they folk. I just want to point out I'm a product of that. I'd say I'm like, for me, I'm not. My mom is a Gohan, and I'm a Gotenks, I'm a Goten. I'm Goten.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you think about it, same human, black person, white person, made my mom, so my mom will be a Gohan, the direct descendant of. No. I'd be Pan. I'd be Pan. I'd be Pan. Goten was also the same. Was it the same tier as Gohan? Because they're brothers. So I'm Pan. Yeah. So And so our people resonate so strongly with Dragon Ball Z because it resonates with us on a spiritual, and I'd even say a molecular level, to the point that a lot of us don't even realize why we resonate so hard with Dragon Ball Z. And and again, may or may not be, but me personally, this is why I resonate so hard with Dragon Ball Z.
Mm.
May or may not understand why, but I feel like this is the reason why we resonate so hard with Dragon Ball Z. So I definitely want to send my love and my condolences out to the Toriyama family. I definitely want. I want to, and me not being a hardcore fan of Dragon Ball Z, just because there was so much that I couldn't keep up with it at the time. Being broke and shit like that. I have a friend of mine who's from the Philippines, who grew up in the Philippines, poor in the Philippines, and he said that only thing that he had to only entertainment that he had was country music, because that was the only thing that they were able to get through on the radios, and Dragon Ball Z, because they were able to get the VHSs and video of Dragon Ball Z through the import export. You know what I'm saying? So Dragon Ball Z is such a massive part of our culture today.
I
We
agree.
see it in hip hop. We see it in every TV show, so many different literary elements. So I just want to give a shout out, and fuck it. I want to give a moment of silence for Akira Toriyama. But yeah. So before we finish this off, I know we started a bit late, and we're definitely going over time a little bit. What would you like to see Marvel/Disney do with the Juggernaut?
Well, the X-Men Last Stand Juggernaut wasn't horrible in my opinion, because
I
we've seen
thought
horrible.
visually horrible. Visually horrible. Powers
I
and
mean,
abilities, kind of on point.
yeah, they could have did a little something extra with the costume. I'm not gonna lie, but it's also one of those things like where it's very hard to find. There's very few people in the world who are actually physically that big.
Mm-hmm. Feel
But
like
I
they were
mean,
kind of afraid to go CGI, like Deadpool.
well, and once again, the Deadpool Juggernaut wasn't terrible. So it's like,
Oh, I feel like that was actually more accurate.
oh yeah, absolutely. But it's also one of those things like where he wasn't. The Juggernaut thing is going to have the same issue Bane has. It's either going to be shrunken down the scale so the performance is believable and acceptable, or it's going to be completely outlandish and people are going to be like, all right, this is accurate, but it's goofy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the whole thing with him fighting Colossus and this, that, and the third, like, all right, I see it. And then he took on Domino and Cable and Wade, but I have a hard time believing that Juggernaut, despite everything we saw him do, is really going to give the business to the X-Men that we know and love.
Wait, which Juggernaut?
The
The
one
Fox
from
Juggernaut
the
or Deadpool Juggernaut?
Deadpool Juggernaut.
Really?
Yes. They showed that he was strong and that he was quote unquote invulnerable, but it's like if we took the Fox X-Men and put them against that Juggernaut, they would have
Oh God,
their hands
he's
full.
killing him. He's killing
Nah,
him.
he did have their hands full, but I think they'd figure out a way to either to take him down or get him off his feet or get his helmet off or something, because it's like that Juggernaut to me wasn't menacing enough.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I mean, I mean, but that's I feel like that's kind of the point though. He's a
nah,
villain. He's supposed to lose, and multiple times the
no,
X-Men have always outwitted him. That's why he teamed up with um fuck, what did you call him? Black what?
Black Tom Cassidy.
Yeah, Black Tom Cutts. That's why he teamed up with him, because he kept losing against him. So I kind of think that's the point. Like, we see him in I'm talking about the first iteration of X-Men, with Beast, no fur, just big feet and big hands and super acrobatic, rips his helmet off type Juggernaut. So we you know what I mean? That's why I kind of feel like against the Fox X-Men, it will be more comic book accurate.
But I don't know. Like, to me, he's got to be. Like I said, he's got to be more menacing. Like, people say a lot about Tom Hardy's depiction of Bane. A lot of people don't like it apparently, but to me, with the way he carried himself and the shit he did and like his physical presence on the screen, like he was terrifying. So it's like, yeah, the
Yeah,
Juggernaut's
yeah,
big, he's strong, but it's like I need more substance from my villains than that. It's one of the reasons why I don't really care for Doomsday.
yeah. I mean, they also did Doomsday really fucked up in that too. So, 'cause if they really truly did Doomsday the way Doomsday was supposed, because and that Doomsday was a clone of Zod. So I wouldn't put too much stock in that Doomsday. If they really did Doomsday, because they could do Doomsday in full fashion, and he'd be fucking terrifying.
I
I
agree.
feel like they have more ability to do Doomsday better than he. I feel like they came with the Juggernaut in Deadpool. I feel like give him more
Secure.
smarts. I feel like they give him more smarts because Juggernaut wasn't mindless. He was a grown man. He knew what he was doing. He chose to do what he was doing. He wasn't mindless. And I think that's the part that they were missing in Deadpool to make him more menacing. Because they
Yeah.
portrayed him as, I'm big, I break shit, I'm gonna work with this kid and do this and do that. No, 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 no. I feel like his powers and abilities and strength. That man literally he punched through an armored vehicle and took out the entire bridge. It wasn't like he took out a part of the bridge. When he punched, and his punch wasn't even, you can tell by like just the way he punched, it wasn't a charged up punch either. It was like a punch as if he was just reaching through something. So he had the ability just to reach through the bottom of an armored convoy tractor trailer truck that's supposed to be fucking RPG proof. He just reached through, completely just like damn near melted through the armor and touched the ground, and it just absolutely obliterated, just straight obliterated the bridge. So I feel like their power hit the power that they had, but if they gave him the mentality of, bro, I'm gonna just fuck you up right now just because, instead of giving him the mindless kind of, ugh, I'm big, I rip Red Man in two type shit. Give him more reasoning. That's what would make him more terrifying.
I agree.
Mm. Now, when it comes to actually like physically putting him in the MCU, how would you like them? How would you rather them introduce him?
Well, about goes up. Excuse me.
How would you introduce him into the MCU?
That all depends on how they go about introducing the X-Men. Because if we get the original 5 X-Men, once again, the original 5 are not that popular individually. And not crazy about them as a team.
But that's Cyclops, Beast, Jean Grey,
Angel,
Iceman, and Angel and Iceman.
Yes. I mean, I'd be all fine with that issue where they come back from whatever they were doing, and the X Mansion is demolished. And they're like, "Yo, who did this? What's going on? Like, yo, what the fuck?" And nowhere they gotta stop the Juggernaut, because those 5 trying to stop him, that shit's gonna be epic.
Yeah, because initially those 5 are not. They're not that strong. Like Jean is, I say, like, as in telepath wise, she's like original 5. She's like 1 level above Charles telepath wise. Telekinetic wise, she's maybe like 2-3 levels above him. I mean, Charles wasn't a telekinetic, he was a telepath. But like,
correct.
You know, she was stronger than your average telekinetic. Maybe by like 2-3 levels. And Cyclops was really just still getting the hang of, you know, of his optic blast. And he was just getting the hang of being a leader to a team of 5. So that, I like that idea, bro. I like that. That would be interesting. It'll be like their first time really learning how to, not their first time learning how to work together, but they're still trying to figure out how to get along. Beast doesn't have his fur yet. I like that idea. I definitely, I fucks with that.
Because it sets the premise for the X-Men, the original team, the First Class. It shows that there's a deeper history between Xavier and some other characters. It sets up the future for the Juggernaut needs to come back, and it also shows that what these guys, both him and them, are capable of.
And it makes sense because the Juggernaut is immortal, so he wouldn't age either.
Right?
And that's something that they can literally just keep CGI and just keep the voice actor, really. So that to me, that makes a lot of sense. That would really work. I like that. I like that a lot. So as for me, I would 100% would agree with that. 100%. What I would like to see is I would like to see him modern day first before they do our First Class, because with everything that the MCU has been through, they can't just randomly be like, oh yeah, the X-Men. The way they introduce him, and it's still gonna be a minute before they introduce him. We've seen how long it took them to introduce the Fantastic Four, and we're still not there yet. We have like another year, 2 years before they drop their Fantastic Four movie, and they're still not done completely casting. They've casted, the Fantastic Four, but they still haven't casted the villain. We haven't heard anything about the movie at all, as in storyline or premise-wise. So it's probably going to be a long time before we get to see them bring in the X-Men. I mean, you know what? I take it back because Go ahead. What you got?
So the X-Men are going to be introduced via the Morlocks, because the Fantastic Four's first villain is going to be the Mole Man.
No, not the Mole Man. Not the Mole Man, really?
He could be like the Underminer from Incredibles.
And that's the first thing that I thought about too. I'm like, that's why I laughed. I'm like,
He said, "They undermine her. I am below you, but nothing is beneath me."
No way. Oh man. No, I feel like because the first two Fantastic Four kind of set a bit of a precedence with the first movie introducing Doom right off the rip, and the second movie introducing Silver Surfer, the Herald of Galactus, and Galactus. I don't want to hear nothing about the way Galactus looked because I've learned a lot about Galactus within our time of doing the show. Galactus appears, however, he is perceived by whatever race. So, when a human looks upon Galactus, he looks human. When, let's say, a Hulk looks upon Galactus, he looks like a Hulk. A Skrull looks upon Galactus, he looks like a Skrull.
He got the ultimate camouflage.
He has the absolute ultimate motherfucking camouflage. So, I would like to say, since, we had to, in order for Galactus to look like a giant ass storm monster coming through, while we have to have been seeing Rise of the Silver Surfer from the perspective of Mother Nature.
What?
That's the only thing that makes sense. In order for Galactus to be in the form of just like a giant kind of like storm or atmospheric kind of like disturbance, like we saw him in Rise of the Silver Surfer, we'd have to have been seeing him from the perspective of a storm and or Mother Nature.
Nah. I think you're reading too much into that one. I think it was one
absolutely. That's the Terramana speaking on that one. I knew that was bullshit before I said it, but I thought it would be funny to say. Because if you think about it, in the comic books, he reveals himself as whatever the race of being he is looking at him. So the only way, and that's continuity. So the only way for him to be seen as some kind of atmospheric disturbance is if we're if we're watching the movie from the perspective of an atmospheric disturbance. That's a whole nother level that no one's thought about with that movie. But yeah, no, as I was saying that, I feel like they gotta come out swinging. Because again, me personally, I know a lot of people really didn't necessarily like the first two Fantastic Four movies. I personally feel like the first movie was better than the second. I thought they were good, especially after reading source material. I felt like they were a lot closer to source material than a lot of what was being released at the time.
Well, yeah, with the exception of the occasional liberty, because some things were bent or changed. But other than that, I mean,
yeah, from how they got their powers to their visual look, their suits in that show and that movie were very, 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 very close to the comic book. The villain that they fought, Doom's look was so close to the source material. Thing's look was very close to the source material. That must have really, and I know for a fact, it really fucking sucked for Michael Chiklis to have to be wearing that suit for hours on end.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michael Chiklis because fucking what was the show he was in? Shield?
Yes, the Shield.
Yeah, the Shield. Bro, I'm about to go back and start rewatching that shit because I gotta rewatch that. I gotta rewatch fucking 24 Hours. Like shows, those shows were fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, now the Shield was definitely different. Well, I love everything Kurt Sutter does.
Yeah,
The,
and
the Shield, Sons of
yeah,
Anarchy,
right. Just
like
like I'm pretty. That's the same way I feel about Jerry Bruckheimer. I know he's probably one of those Hollywood elites that was chilling out on Epstein's island and shit just because of the circles that he kind of runs in. But when it
right.
comes to first responder and cop shows, that nigga don't miss. And what Josh Wolf? Josh Wolf when it comes to fucking Law and Order, that nigga don't miss. And the reason I bring up Jerry Bruckheimer because I'm currently watching Fire Country.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking crazy. It's so fucking good, dude. Like I'm on season 2, and I'm caught up to the point where I have another episode I gotta watch tonight because it comes out at Fire Country Friday. It releases on Fridays on Paramount Plus. Go check it out, Fire Country. And the only reason why I'm watching Fire Country is for Jordan Calloway, who also played Painkiller, who we talked about in like 3 episodes ago?
No, not that many.
2 episodes ago.
Yes.
Yeah. We got this episode. We have Black Queens. And then we have. Whoa. What did we talk about for Black History Month? Static Shock, Painkiller, Black Super Queens,
Alex Wilder, Killmonger.
and Alice Wilder. Yeah. And Killmonger. That's what I'm missing. Killmonger. So that's 2 episodes ago because we talked about Alice Wilder and Painkiller in the same episode, and 2 episodes ago. 2 episodes ago. Because this episode, the episode before that was Black Super Queens, and then no, my bad. No, Alice Wilder and Painkiller was last episode, wasn't it?
No, our last episode was the Masters of Magnetism.
My bad. Yeah, so it is too. But we talked about Alice Wilder and Painkiller, the last episode of Black History Month.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, 2 episodes ago, last episode we talked about Magneto Polaris. Episode before that, Alex Wilder and Painkiller. Jordan Calloway played Painkiller in Black Lightning. So that's why I started watching the show. So I suggest watching Fire Country. If you like first responder shows, Fire Country. That's clearly the name Fire. It's about a bunch of firefighters. It's fucking great. The show's fucking great. Jordan Calloway, amazing actor. Amazing actor. Shout out to Jordan Calloway. Hey, yo, Jordan, we would like to do an interview with you at some point this year. So if you have time in your schedule, if you happen to see this episode, we would like to do an interview with you at some point this year. I will be trying to get in contact with you. So look forward to getting an email from, weeksmultimediagroup.com at gmail.com. Sorry, Terramata is really kicking in now. I most definitely agree with you on the way they should bring him in. I don't think they should have Mole Man be Fantastic Four's first kind of villain that they run into.
Listen, I'm telling you, man, they start off with something light, something different. It'll give them a chance to actually grow and show their powers. And the next big thing is Doom. Then they have the coming of Galactus.
So I feel like they'd have to have somebody a little bit bigger than Mole Man being conscribed by Doom.
Well, I mean, how?
I don't know. I feel like personally they have to have Doom. I feel like they have to have Doom first in order to build a rivalry with Doom.
Uh, Hmm.
But
I
correct me if I'm wrong. How does Doom get his initial abilities?
now the Doctor Doom I grew up reading about didn't have superpowers. It was all in his tactile armor.
And then he ends up getting powers by studying the powers of mysticism. He becomes
Correct.
the mystic.
He studied with multiple masters. He wound up becoming a sorcerer supreme for a little while. Like, nah, Doom's done some shit. But it's like I feel like them doing that. Like my argument years ago was, I didn't like the fact that Lex Luthor was in every Superman movie. If the Joker is not in every Batman movie, you know what I mean? Like they want to
Mm,
stick Doom in every movie. They're either going to make him redundant and try to redeem him like they did with Loki, or people are going to get burned out, stop caring.
mm.
Like you look
So,
at Captain America went the Red Skull, the Winter Soldier, and then had to deal with Baron Zemo.
and those are his only real three big bads.
So he's got like a couple more, but it's like that works. I mean, the Fantastic Four have enemies because let's not forget they do have issues with Namor also, and then
Oh yeah, and they team up with Black Panther. That would be a good way to run it because you do have a new Black Panther. They can either run with Shuri, which I wouldn't,
boo,
I wouldn't, I would not like that at all. Or they can run with Toussaint, his son, who's real, his Wakanda name T'Challa. Um, but for that, they'd have to do a whole time skip, and they're gonna roll out Fantastic Four next year, I believe. Is a release
listen,
date for Fantastic Four next year?
if they found the right actor to play him, I'd be okay with the time skip. And yes, I believe it is next year.
But we can't do that because they're already 5 years ahead of us.
Well, they are, but they're not. I think that's another reason why they're not pumping out work the way they are. They're trying to take a breath to catch up with the time with the actual ongoing time.
Well, 5 years is a long time to try to take a breath and catch up with.
Hey man, I don't give a flying fuck how many years J. Cole takes between his albums if everything he puts out is a masterpiece.
Solid. Very solid point. Very, very solid point. I 100% agree with that. Shout out to J. Cole. J. Cole the GOAT. Jermaine? Cole?
Said Mina and
Oh,
Katrina mixed with Gina. Shut up, Cole. So yeah,
he
that's
said
my
she.
feelings on that.
I'm just saying she said she fucked only 4 or 5 niggas, so I guess you got to multiply by 3.
Oh God.
That was one of my favorite fucking lines from J. Cole.
Yeah, yeah. Now that whole album was golden.
Golden. Um, no, I do have to agree with you. I feel like with Juggernaut introducing Juggernaut, uh, I feel like they would have to wait. So they would have to wait. Or actually, this thought just came to mind. Since they've already introduced the Celestials on that
Go ahead, Nick.
cosmic scale, Sidorak is technically on a cosmic scale, so they could introduce Sidorak first as like maybe a post cutscene to something that involves the Celestials. Because remember, they still haven't finished off that storyline for the ending scene for Internals.
Oh, I
They
thought you
still
were gonna
haven't
say
came full circle.
I thought you were gonna say Shang-Chi because that's another thing too. Because when they were asking him about the Ten Rings, where they come from, or the Chitauri, they're like, no, I just know they're really old. They're apparently not from the planet, but technically, the ruby of Sidorak could be looked at in a similar fashion. And then they'd be like, all right, well, we need to hide this away, or have like him find it and then be like, yo, what is this thing that gave him his power? And then they go into the details. So, like I said, the windows of opportunity are there They just have to bring the characters in the right way.
I don't know if they'll be able to run it with Shang-Chi because Miss Marvel is already all right. So Miss Marvel is connected to Shang-Chi via the Ten Rings, via the
Correct.
one scene that we see in Miss Marvel. Those of you shout out to Miss Marvel. I highly recommend watching Miss Marvel. The scene of Miss Marvel when the bangles are first found, they're found within a temple that has the symbol of the Ten Rings on the bottom. We all know Shang-Chi's father is damn near immortal after finding the Ten Rings that are from a different universe. And after watching the Marvels, we find out that the bangles are cosmic in nature, while the ruby of Sidorak is mystic in nature. I feel like the only other way they could probably feasibly bring that in is with Doctor Strange. Seeing as how he has had standoffs with Doctor Strange. They could probably run it that he was already there. They could probably start it off from the fight between Strange and Infinity. Where Infinity ends up
Strange.
throwing Juggernaut into another dimension, another reality.
Oh, I'm thinking of when you said Infinity. I'm thinking my mind went to that scene from Thor: Love and Thunder where they actually found
Oh,
Eternity.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. No. That's my bad. I did mean Eternity.
Okay,
But now
okay, that's
that
my
you,
thought.
but now that yeah. So yeah, because during the battle between Strange and this is when Strange didn't look like you know didn't look like he didn't look humanoid. He was like blue. He had like a blue suit and he still had the cape with the Eye Agamotto, but he was a blue suit and he had his third eye. So, and that's when Eternity came in, and not Infinity. I didn't mean Infinity. I meant Eternity came in and pretty much sent him to a whole another pretty much universe dimension.
Mm.
And apparently, he Juggernaut brings himself back by sheer will power. So they could run it as if as in mutants and X-Men are still kind of like underground. You know what I mean? Really knows about them. X-Men are running covertly. Mutants are covert right now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the first recognition of mutants is with Miss Marvel. First time to like,
Right.
oh, whoa, there's mutants. You know what I mean? Again, we also get the hint that Pietro and Wanda are mutants per Agatha Harkness. Mind you, we still have the Agatha show coming up. That's still in the pipeline as well.
Not sure how I feel about it, but
I definitely agree. Me too. I'm iffy about it. I love her character from WandaVision. I just don't know how she can do standalone. Um, but they could run it as if the mutants have been running covertly. X-Men have been running covertly. They've always been there, but they've been running, underneath. They could actually introduce the X-Men by showing their side of the fight of the Battle of New York.
oh, this is true.
That would be
I
really interesting because I recently heard a theory on how DC could properly bring in the Justice League and have it as the first movie that involves the Justice League could actually start out with a fight, a massive battle against Brainiac with all of them already formed together. We end up cutting to a scene of the Green Lantern fighting with a Brainiac villain or whatever, and the movie ends up like it. So the camera ends up panning into his eye, and then we enter an origin story of Green Lantern, and that origin story ends up leading up until how he got to that moment. And then the same thing for each character. Same thing happens for each character. Their movie starts, we see them at that battle from their perspective and their point of view, and then the movie goes into seeing how they got there. So they could do that same thing with the X-Men. Yeah, the Avengers might have been in the Battle of New York, but there were other people fighting there too. And that's how they can introduce the Defenders, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, their perspective of the Battle of New York.
I don't hate that.
Yeah. Just go back in time and have the Battle of New York be the epicenter for everything within the MCU.
Well, we saw how it affected Kate Bishop.
Exactly. See, right there, they've already did it with the Hawkeye TV show and how it created Kate Bishop. Or again, they've had multiple situations that have affected the entire MCU. You could have certain situations be continued from the Battle of New York. We have situations that can be a continuation from the snap. We can have continuation from the second snap and how they all got started. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like the X-Men and mutants to be brought in from the second snap. I can see them being brought in from the first snap.
So I got an idea.
Go ahead.
Now follow me down the rabbit hole.
I'm down. I'm jumping in the rabbit hole. Let's go. We here.
So you've seen Underworld Evolution.
Absolutely. I love the Underworld series except for Blood Wars.
Me too. Me too.
What happened after?
So what if the X-Men have been moving all along, but everything that they did, they cleaned up after themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And then what if the emergence of all these super beings is what results in certain governments and organizations looking in how to stop them, hence Trask Industries, hence Sentinel Services? What if it was necessarily a metahuman issue initially, and then they focused on the quote-unquote mutant threat? And then, like, once again, we can have our seasoned warriors like Xavier and Magneto, and maybe it's not so much them as it is like a Kingdom Come scenario, like where their descendants or their heirs are now fighting. Like Polaris leads the Brotherhood, Cyclops is now leading the X-Men, Havoc's going off to do his own thing.
Yes and no. I'm a yes and no on that. I still want to see the original X-Men in full fledged. Because again, we're seeing. Yeah, I don't because again we got all that with the Gifted. We got all that flashback shit with the Gifted and Days of Future Past. I want to see them full fledged in modern. So I still want to see Xavier. I still want to see the X-Men in the full fledged. Again, we don't know what Deadpool has to offer us right now. Because it could be Deadpool that breaks the multiverse and just fucking combines everything together.
Wade Saskatchewan Wilson.
This was Triple W, WWW.
Yes.
I forgot that. I definitely forgot that. Personally, me, I would like to. I would like. Again, like I just said, I want to see X-Men in the full fledged, even if it's just for one movie, and then they jump forward. You know what I'm saying? and then we get to where you are right now. Um, Copy. Um, so yeah, I that's just, I don't know. I gotta see Xavier in full fledged. I gotta see the full fledged modern X Men. I gotta see Xavier. I gotta see Wolverine, Storm. I gotta see Cyclops. I gotta see Jean Grey. I want to see Nightcrawler. Who am I missing? Iceman. I want to see all those characters in one group working together for a situation, even if they run it off of the Battle of New York. Again, because a lot of time has passed since the Battle of New York, and a lot of shit has happened since the Battle of New York. So they can
Okay.
introduce us to the X-Men at the beginning of the movie by introducing us to the original formation of maybe not the original, but the modern and the most popular iteration of the X-Men that way.
So you're saying have the Battle of New York be like the foundation of the original five, and then have it chronologically work from 2012 to now, and then show everything that's happened.
Yes. And now, like you said, we see Polaris as the leader of the X-Men. We see, because when the snap happens, because remember, so from Battle of New York to the snap, there's what, maybe 3-4 years in between that?
Wait, no,
No,
because
there's
you
more than
figure
that.
it's a good decade almost.
Yeah. Yeah. And then from the snap to the re-snap is 5 years. So it's like 15 years. More or less. So that's a lot of time for the X-Men roster to change, for the Brotherhood roster to change. So we can probably still see that flashback time that you're talking about. And then after that, and and have it actually be Polaris that's telling the flashback story. The
Like, let
Battle
me
of
tell
New
you,
York, and everything changed.
right? And then they could like work towards an actual Avengers level threat where you have to see all the different teams of the mutants, where you get to see the Brotherhood work side by side with the X-Men, who have also now co-founded Excalibur, who also now have X-Force. Like,
Exactly. And all together, again, we already have Spider-Man, so now we see Spider-Man with the Avengers. Because we know that he's worked closely with the X. Spider-Man has worked closely with every single hero group, damn near.
damn near.
Yeah. And again, now Henry Cavill has supposedly signed on for some mysterious role. Only thing I can think of is him playing Captain Britain. So we can end up
That's
seeing
the rumor.
whatever exactly. So we can see whatever Omega threat, Omega level threat, or whatever Avengers level threat be a worldwide threat. So now, not only do we get Captain Britain, but we now get the Union. And now all this happening with a span of a decade. We can have all this happen with a span of 10 years. So within those 10 years, now we're reintroducing Ghost Rider. We're reintroducing the Defenders. We're introducing all these other heroes and characters that we haven't before. And reintroducing characters.
And they can have people be like like battle war or battle hardened. Some people be battle weary. Like, come on, man, we need you to fight with us. Like, all I've done is fight since I joined the X-Men. I came here to study and learn how to control my powers. I've become a soldier in some ongoing race war, like shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Gotta be so fucking perfect. But I'll put it this way: I'm tired of seeing people come together now. I'm tired of seeing introductions. I want to. We can see them already battle hardened and battle weary, like you said. And that would be a perfect way to bring in Juggernaut. But clearly, they have to bring in mutants and the X-Men full-fledged first before they introduce Juggernaut. So I don't know. That's me. That's what I would like to see. That's the way I would like to introduce Juggernaut. But there's a lot of work they have to do first before they can do it and do it correctly.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. With that, I have reached the absolute bottom of my bottle of Terramano. There's absolutely nothing left in this bottle, which I have to re-up, which is maybe I should, keep an eye on this because it was a small bottle. With that, Level 7s, that has been another amazing episode of the Super Breakdown. Down. Tune in next week when we're going to jump in and talk about the card slinger himself, Gambit. And unlike this episode, but like most episodes, Triage is going to be taking that away. I feel like I did more talking in this episode than I have in the most recent episodes.
Hey, man, it's nice to remember him down here.
Oh, absolutely. It really felt great to talk about a character that I also have a lot of knowledge about. It's also because I was super excited because, again, like I said, this is a character that I favored very much so as a child. Excuse me. So it was nice to really be able to go ham and go in about a character that from my childhood. Again, tune in next week, Sunday, 7 p.m. between 7 and 8, maybe 8:30. We will be going live again to talk about Gambit. I am Power Maximus the Conqueror, also known as the Red Wolf. And we're always here with everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage. We'll see you next week for another installment of the Super Breakdown. Before we go, let's hear from our friends Midnight Comics, Roomful of Lady Mandalore, and Icarus Podcast.
Going on, everybody, Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show.
If it comes up. All right, I guess it doesn't want to come up.
Going on, everybody, Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, the Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out the Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I will have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
All right, and with that, all level sevens, that has been the Super Breakdown podcast. We love you all for tuning in. Again, celebration. We have hit officially 51 episodes. As soon as we end this live, we are at 51 episodes. It's been a dope ride. It's been a dope ride so far, and I'm looking forward to this ride getting even bigger. I'm looking forward to this ride getting even better. And again, LT, I appreciate you doing this show with me, bro. This has been an absolute honor. It's been so fucking fun, and I look forward to the awesome shit that we're about to get into in our future, in our soon to come future. So, with that, we bid you adieu. Good night. Our Power Maximus, we're with Lord Triage. See you guys next week. Peace.